and the founder of Actor Slash and Connecting Slashers. And we are at the Mexican Consulate in Los Angeles, broadcasting live.
Woo! Yeah.
CCCM. We have Facebook and Instagram live here. I hear some voices. Can you guys turn your volume? Please. So make sure, guys, your volume is down, and we're going to start this event right now. So if you share pictures or videos, if you're going to tell people where we are, hashtags, please use hashtags and tag us all. So I'm going to be introducing one by one of the panelists who made it possible tonight. And I'm very excited because we just watched their show, their reels, and as you notice, it's very diverse. As the Consul of Culture, Cynthia Prida, said, we have filmmakers from China, which is the case of the first person I'm going to bring in. Tannie, Tang, is an emerging cinematographer, so give it up for Tannie. Tannie, I just love it because I met her once in my life for 5 minutes, right, Tannie? And, thank you so much for being here. Please take a seat. And then she just told me what she does, and I found it very interesting. So we also have from Colombia, Jack Gastelbondo. Where are you, Jack? He is an editor slash director slash writer slash shalala. And we met and we met in a party. Yeah. Well, in a mixer that I did with Actor Slash last year for Connecting Slashers. Thank you so much for being here. Please have a seat here. And to put more flavor here into this panel, I'm going to bring to the front Kiki Melendez from Dominican Republic. She's moving from Miami just to be here.
I haven't aged, so I'm totally like, I'm excited. I wanted to be here for you. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited that you're here. Thank you so much. And then my next panelist, where is Mike? Mike Blevins. Mike, you know how we met? We follow each other on Instagram. That was it, right, Mike? And then what you do and all that, and he comes to my events and all that, and I think he's an amazing and fantastic filmmaker. Thank you so much. He's from the U.S. How do you know? Being here. And I'm leaving at the end, La Maestra. Amazing, super happy. We tried to bring her in so many times. We also met only on social media, right? We never met before in person until today, but she's been amazing, responsive. Pablito, wait, no te vayas. And I'm gonna ask you for a big round of applause to Oscar nominee, Golden Globes nominee, SAG Awards nominee. She has so many awards. ADRIANA Barraza from Mexico.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy, and I'm really happy because this short film is, well, I will tell you, yes.
And to help
Thank you very
me,
much. Thank you very much.
I'm very excited that you're here. And to help me, Pablito, we're going to need an extra chair for you to sit next. To help me with some translation, I'm asking another actor slash producer. He's very famous in soap operas and series and all that. If we have an extra chair, someone can sit where Adriana was sitting. Shane, do you think you can sit next to you and then give me that chair?
Yeah.
Or the gentleman in front of you, I need that chair for Pablito. Pablo, I met Pablo because Adriana introduced me to him. And she told me that Pablo was moving from Miami to Los Angeles. He's a great actor. He was my panelist before, and he's going to be helping with the translation. So thank you so much. I'm sorry, I can have you. Está bien. ¿Aquí nos vemos? No. Dice Justin que no. Justin doesn't approve.
A la derecha. A la derecha.
Okay. And also I would like to thank, this is all collaboration, people. So everybody's volunteering. I have, for instance, here, thank you so much. She's all shy. I have Cynthia Moreno from Argentina. She's an actor slash producer and writer, and she volunteered to take pictures tonight. So thank you so much to her as well. So we're going to start right now. I'm sorry I didn't give you a mic. I want to leave this for you guys here so you get to share. And so you guys brought your your latest work here with us. And I would like to ask you, first of all, how did you start doing what you do? Introduce yourself. So, Tannie, and I don't know if you need help, we help out for you. Is it on? Oh, sorry.
Testing. Oh, there you go. Yep.
I am Tannie. I'm from China. Well, originally, I went to undergrad in business and film studies. I always like film and media stuff in general. And I just really want to dive into the more technical aspect of filmmaking. I thought that would be something that I'm more interested in terms of just the whole producer, director, all these positions. I felt like cinematography is something that I really want to do. And I went to film school for it. And right now I'm just freelancing. Mostly crewing up. There's a lot of positions under cinematography on the film set that you can do, like camera assistant, like Gaffer, key grip, and all that stuff. And then eventually I do want to get better at my craft in cinematography and just become a director of photography. Yeah.
And we just saw commercial, right?
Yes.
That you do.
So yeah.
You're currently still studying, right? Or you're
I'm half studying, half working, so I can get the actual working experience combined with what I'm learning as well. So that I think that's like what I'm doing right now. So it's juggling back and forth, school and work.
And I understand you were in New York first,
Yes.
so you moved to Los Angeles just recently?
Very recently. I was working in New York most of the time, but just moved to LA for less than a year. In film business, obviously, on film sets, doing lighting stuff mostly. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, I know. I see a lot of people there. Excellent. Jack, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, muy bien. Jack Gastelbondo, and I'm from Colombia, not from China. I used to be a music teacher for a long time, and I got into filmmaking about 12 years ago. I just started experimenting with cameras and just like learning about the craft, and kind of took it as a hobby. And little by little, I just got sucked into making short films, eventually a feature film, and really enjoyed writing and directing and being able to edit my own stuff. So I've been doing it for a while, and I really like it. And a year and a half ago, I decided to quit teaching and just move here and pursue this full time. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm enjoying the process and just really trying to get better at what I do and hopefully make a living out of it.
So Jack, the scene that we saw, it's actually a scene that you created. It's not part of a movie or anything. You just created to join forces with two actors because probably they need a reel or something. But you also did it because you wanted to, as an exercise, I think that's what you told me, to showcase and show how you can start with simple and then start building some tension and then mystery and something like you want to talk about?
Yeah. So basically, the two actors, Brian and Kate, the two actors in that scene, are friends of mine in Denver. They're theater actors primarily, and basically the scene in Denver here is very different than here. It's not a lot happening in terms of filmmaking in Denver. So it's a small group, and I created that scene, or I wrote that scene for them in mind, just to do something really short. So order some pizza. That's my house, or where I used to live. And we just wanted to all work together, and the crew was a small crew, and everyone was a friend of mine. So we just decided to spend a couple of hours and do it, film it at my home. And so what's cheaper than hammer and nail two starving actors and and a camera and pretty simple shots. So we just wanted to do something really simple. And then the guy who's driving the car is also a good friend of mine. So I'm like, can you just drive us that way? Can you look awkward, as you're looking at us? And it's so really simple stuff. But
I was going to say, from now on, every time I see someone driving, I'm going to... Probably, are you like, if I failed something, I'm going to...
Yeah, but it was a good experience. I mean, we shot it really quickly, but the point is that you can tell good stories without having to spend a whole lot of money and be able to practice the craft.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Love it.
Thank you.
How on earth did you do the blood? Is it like an After Effects, the blood leaking out of a...
No, that was like syrup and like ketchup mixed in together or something like that. Just like a little syringe, you
And then
know?
you just put it, okay. Someone was behind the wall and like...
No.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Very well done. Kiki, this woman is amazing. She is a producer. She's a truly slasher, an actor. She runs her own production company and 2 festivals.
Not just
And-
one.
Well, the first production company I've seen it in a couple festivals, wasn't it? The
Oh, I
LA
did Latin Hollywood
Yeah.
upfront, so
Yeah.
that I don't run, I turned that into Omni.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the Omni right now. She showed us the festival that is going to happen, the second edition here in Los Angeles, right? It's going to
Yes,
be.
2020.
So we all the time see festivals, film festivals, right? But how many times we see TV festivals?
Television festivals, yeah.
Televisions, not really that many.
And we
So-
sold 8 projects this year. I'm so
That's-
proud. I'm
that's
so proud.
good.
And then yesterday, I was getting on the plane. One of the prizes is that the festival winners, each category, wins. And so we take them to NATP Miami to actually be there for 3 days, trying to sell their projects. And I was getting on the plane this morning, I don't remember anymore. And one of the guys was on the plane, he goes, "Oh my God, the BBC." So he got interest from the BBC at NATP, so that could be 9 if it goes through,
That would be
So
amazing.
in a year, that's only in 1 year.
When is gonna be the second edition this year?
The second one is June 14th at the Directors Guild of America, and people have to submit by February 14th. I'm sorry, February 16th. So yeah, so you have to submit by February 16th if you want an opportunity. It's all genres of television, and it has a 5-star festival rating right now.
That is amazing. Last year, Fernanda Kelly, Javier Seriani, and I went to your Kickstart party. And
That's
it was
where we met, right?
It was pretty good. I liked it very much. When are we gonna have the party? Waiting. So,
Always,
guys,
always
Flavor, let's go and check out this event. Let's move to Mike. Do you think you can take the mic with it? Yeah. So, Mike, aside of being a filmmaker, I mean, I totally want to hear about what you do, but on top of that, I'm following him on Instagram, and he's a musician. And he sings and all that. So, tell us all about it. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Which part?
You know, you were born,
The music part?
I was born like that. Tell us about you, a little
Oh.
bit of you, and your project.
Okay, yeah, I'm a filmmaker. I'm originally from. Is this close enough? Where's the good level?
There.
Good. All right. Amateur comedian, obviously. Not really. That's a joke. So originally from Missouri. I made my first feature when I was 19. One of those like with your friends kind of a thing. But we did it. We had a premiere and all that, and then I did 2 more there. Before I moved to Hollywood with no contacts, no job, no place to live, no nothing, no money. Grew up on a farm.
That sounds
So-
familiar,
Wow.
right?
So yeah, I came out here 7-ish years ago, started PAing, and then I gripped, and then started a grip and lighting company and started gaffing.
You want to tell us the name of your company?
Oh yeah, it's T-Rex Lighting and Camera. So I was a gaffer for a hot minute. That's how I know Rudy. And
Right. We
then,
work together.
yeah, we worked together.
Did I say that?
Wow. But yeah, I've been always aspiring to direct and produce. And you guys just saw a trailer for my next movie, but first legit real movie. So I'm really excited about that. It's almost done. You guys are actually the first to see the trailer.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey.
lucky you.
Premiere.
Came out fresh from the oven today.
Yeah.
So,
Fresh in
lucky
the
you
oven.
guys.
Uh,
Privilege.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's about it.
And how about the music thing?
Oh, yeah, I've been playing guitar for about 20 years. And me and my drummer lived next door to each other back in Missouri. And now he's an engineer at Capitol Records. So we just decided that we were going to get together and form a band. And we recruited a studio bassist. And now we've got a band called Wolf Paint. And we're headlining February 29th at the Mint in Los Angeles.
So you guys know the name / bunch of things. Adriana, querida.
Well, I am Adriana Barraza, I'm Mexican. I'm actress, I'm director, I am a drama teacher for many years. As an actress, I began 47 years ago. As a director, as a drama teacher, 45 years ago. This is also because Pablito was my student, and I have a lot of students, some students here. I'm really happy because you are here, not for me, because you are here only. And thank you for everybody's here. Well, I need to say, I'm not a director, like film director. I'm a director for TV only. But I have a drama school in Miami. My school, I think that the next year it will be 10 years. And we work very hard, and now is with me one of the 3 directors, la maestra Jacqueline Diseño, she is. And then we work with our students, especially for this short film, because the last semester in our school is acting for camera. And then the exam for these actors is the opportunity to do something like professional film. It's not our goal to be in a film festival, but sometimes we say, oh my God, it is a beautiful short film. Well, maybe we can share with everybody. This is the occasion. But our goal for this work with our students is that in this occasion, they are wonderful as an actors, as an actresses. Our work is making by our friends to do. The script of this short film was written for Neca Jacqueline Briseño, my friend and actress too, that is there. I'm not talking about my life, because I think my work is my life. Yeah. And my love is el espacio escénico. This is my love, the stage. And then I think this is the reason, because we are here, even if we are not something to eat. Yeah.
Speaking of eating, thank you so much for bringing Mexican
Oh, yeah.
cookie and tres leches and pigs on the blanket.
Yeah.
I didn't know it's typical from Missouri. You know, the food that was put outside. Every single one of them brought food for all of you.
That's sweet. Thank you.
And it was delicious. Hey, Adriana, so tell me something. So I remember going to the private screening of Cake with Jennifer Aniston. And she was on a Q&A, and then someone asked about you, and I was like, sexy, I like her. Yeah. And she was very sweet. She's like, yo, Adriana, she's amazing. We connected very well.
Yeah.
We had a great experience. And she has an acting school in Miami. So she mentioned it, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And she's very good, and I made a video for her and all that, and she's been doing it a lot. And how many, I mean, I just love that people acknowledge that. And I just love seeing someone like Jennifer Aniston being aware, like the talent that we have in Mexico, such as you. So your school has been there for 10 years, and as you said, this wasn't meant to be on a film festival, but I'm very happy that you brought it here, so your actresses, your students,
Thank you.
came out and they have something to show, because I heard and saw the reaction of a lot of you, and we were like, oh my God, what happened?
Yes, and you know, it was really hard because the idea, voy a decirlo en español, nosotros, la maestra Jacqueline Briceño tiene que escribir según el número de alumnos que tenemos.
The teacher has to write according to how many students they have.
No siempre es fácil, porque hay que inventar una idea en donde cada estudiante pueda hacer lo que tiene que hacer. Es como mandar a hacer un vestido al gusto, ¿no?
It's not easy because each student has to do their own work, their own level. It's like creating your own dress.
No es como podría ser con algún otro cineasta que quiere decir algo y entonces primero lo piensa, lo escribe y después va y lo produce.
It's not like other filmmakers that they think about an idea, they write it down and they go and produce it. It's not like that.
Porque no es nuestro gol, como lo dije, no es nuestra meta.
It's not their objective.
Nosotros no somos una escuela de dirección de cine, somos una escuela de actuación.
They are not a filmmaking school, it's a school of acting.
Pero estamos muy orgullosos, por eso está aquí la maestra, del resultado que hemos tenido con nuestros alumnos. Y quiero decir, por favor.
They are very proud of the result that they've been having with the teacher and the
Y
students.
quiero hacer and I want to do a commercial for you, all of you, if you like one of these actresses, please. Please.
And she's recommending her students, if you like them, please hire them.
Please.
That she said in English, just to
And-
I did that with Justin, my husband.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yes.
Well, that's an amazing job and opportunity for them to be at your school, and I see that you have also kids and all that, so it's very nice.
Thank you.
So, I know that she normally lives in Miami, and we were trying to bring Adriana and work together, do something together, at least showcase something of whatever she wanted here for so long, and finally we got the opportunity, because she's been in Los Angeles for a couple of months. You want to tell them what you're doing?
Well, more than a couple of months, because I was here since July until March, because I'm doing Penetrate for City of Angels with a beautiful, beautiful actor.
That's very good. So we're
Yeah.
going to be, I think this is the third season? It's
The
coming
fourth
back?
season,
The fourth
because
season?
the first season was in London, well, Dublin and London, and now is LA, especially the story of LA in 1938.
Very
It's
nice.
beautiful, I think. Well, I recommend it because really it's a beautiful story.
Thank you so much. Mike. So we're back to you. So let's go back to your project. I mean, the title, What's Hiding?
What's buried in the
What's
backyard?
Buried in the Backyard. So you want to tell us I mean, the title says a lot, but did you write it? And how did you come up with this? Did you find some surprises in your own backyard, or what happened?
No. So basically, what happened was it got to a point where I was just dying to make another project, and I was moving to this house. It's on an acre, and it's kind of like but basically the house in the movie is where I live. And we were yeah. That was before we mixed up. But it was we were moving in, and I was like, this is a perfect location for a movie. Like, this is an asset. And so I wrote the whole movie based on what I was capable of bringing to the table. And I have cameras and lights already with my company, so it was basically all there. It's kind of a no-brainer. But funny story is I had raised several $100,000 to make the project through like a club owner and a magazine owner and like people with money that put it together. And they wanted to pair me with a co-director. And I was not okay with that. And I fought it, and they pulled the money off the table. And instead of saying I quit, I took every penny that my company made in 2017 and put it into that movie. Wow. So I made the movie.
I'm actually very happy that you are looking
By myself.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask, because how many filmmakers do we have here? Like, or whatever, directors, producers, and writers. And we all want to make our own movie, and we never know how to do it, right? Like, where do I get the funding? And then you finally get the money, but they want to control your project. And like, you wrote it, so you really have to fight for it. And I'm very glad you did. Something that you guys don't know, because I saw in your IMDb, he was an actor himself. He has tons of credits as an actor. What made you change? Because you're not acting anymore, are you?
No, not really.
Nah. Do you miss it?
No, not really at all. I've always enjoyed just telling stories from behind the camera. I'm just one of those personalities, I reckon. But I don't know. I just had a small, tiny, itty-bitty little part in that Marriage Story movie. So that was kind of cool. That was a really neat experience, being with Bob Bach for 3 days and getting to see how he worked. And then prior to that, I had a tiny little itty-bitty part in Hail Caesar, and the Coen brothers.
Wow.
So getting to be working with them was mind-blowing. But other than that, not really.
You do have a lot of credits. Like, anyone would like to have so many credits. Like Pablo and Adriana and the three of us, we were like, I could never stop acting. Like, before being a producer, I'm an actress. And and of course I talk a lot, so I do these things to a presenter. But I really just can't stop acting. What made you stop? Like, you just had the necessity to create your own projects, and then that took you into that path, or what happened?
Well, I don't think I would ever categorize myself as an actor. Yeah, in the first place. It's not where my fire is. But what I would say to anybody that is wanting to get more credits or is wanting to get more screen time. I mean, we live in Los Angeles. You can shake a tree and a red will fall out of it. So, like,
I need one of those trees.
Yeah,
just tell me where.
Literally, it's just networking, shaking hands, being personable, talk to people, tell people you're passionate. The chances are you're going to find someone just as passionate as you. You guys can come together, like what you did, and make something short, sweet, cool, get it on IMDb, get it in some festivals. That's practically free, and get it out there. But it really just takes that fire, whatever fire is motivating you, to like get off your butt and do it. And it's hard, and it's not fun, and it's stressful most of the time. But you got to do it, because no one's going to do it for you. So.
That's amazing. I'm very happy that you're mentioning that. Yes. Because as Robert De Niro just said the other day at the SAG Awards, he took his award, and he said, an actor is not really like looking for what is going to be your next award, but what's going to be your next award. Like, be employed. And when that doesn't happen, that's when you have to create your own opportunities. That's why it's called actors creating opportunities. But it's really good that you tried, or you did acting, because that for sure puts you on the shoes of the actor, and you know better how to get to the actor and direct us better. And
no screaming.
Sure helps. Exactly. I mean, you have. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Kiki, you're also a producer yourself, and you do a lot of projects that you act and produce, and you write them as well, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that process and that necessity of doing it. When did you start? Did you start acting and then producing? And
well, I went to school at Lee Strasberg in New York, so I wanted to be an actress. I really loved that. And I started in radio in New York, in Spanish, and then came here and started doing it in English. And believe it or not, my program director and I started Spanish music on English language radio in Los Angeles. I don't know if we started all over the country, but in Los Angeles, I don't know if you guys have been here long enough, but it was called Latin Grooves Live from the Hollywood Athletic Club. And that was the first time that we started playing Latin music on general market radio. So, so it was very, very popular. We were huge. We had huge numbers. And it was so funny because I just like fell into it. I was doing the morning show, and then my program director was like, you have to do a weekend show, and I was doing that, and all of a sudden the weekend show was beating my morning show because it was Latin music. So we had people like, we started playing Ricky Martin, Proyecto Uno, you know, that kind of stuff. And then I threw in some Persian stuff, Alabina, which is like, you know, Gypsy King mixed with, you know, Persian music. And it was huge. So the president of Galavision tells one of his people, he goes, this girl, everybody's talking about her, can you go to the Hollywood Athletic Club and see if she can be on television? You know, like what does she look like? You know what I mean? I swear to God, it's a true story. So this executive from Galavision like walks to the club and where's Kiki, where's Kiki? And she comes and she looks at me like de arriba abajo, you know, like, you know? And then she goes and she gets on the phone. She goes, yeah, she could be on television. What do you want me to do, you know? I was like, I didn't even know what was happening, right? And so next day I'm on the phone with Galavision, and they're like, listen, we want to get the young kids, we want blah, blah, blah. They're telling me what they want. And what would you do? What would you do if I told you, you know, blah, blah, blah? And I said, I don't know, I do like a bilingual entertainment show or something. And they go, well, what do you mean? What do you mean by bilingual? And I go, well, what I would do is, tú sabes, comienzo a hablar inglés, y cuando yo veo que ya estoy perdiendo la gente, I switch back into English, and then I start to like really get to know my audience, y después ya yo sé qué puedo hacer. And I started speaking bilingual to him, and he goes, oh my God, can you give me a test? He goes, I don't have any money, because my budget is over. But I will give you an hour on Galavision, and you do whatever the hell you want.
Wow, that's amazing.
Those were the days that never happens anymore. They don't take chances anymore. I mean, they really don't take these chances. So he goes, just do something. So I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? I didn't even know what to do. I had no idea what to do. So there was a salsa festival, and I was selling ad space for the salsa festival on the side from my radio job. And I came up with, oh, I'll do salsa desde Hollywood. And it's going to be about the influence of salsa music in Hollywood. And I took my little camera, and I just went wherever salsa music was being played. And all these miracles started to happen. All these miracles. Like I ran into Alec Baldwin at the airport, and I started dancing salsa music with him. Like miracles. I went here, Magic Johnson was there, I started dancing salsa with him. And it was this stupid show, and Eva Longoria had just arrived from Corpus Christi, and she was my sidekick.
Oh, wow.
She was my little sidekick, right? She was like, and so we were just interviewing random people in the streets, like nothing planned, just talking about salsa, playing salsa, dancing salsa. Then I found an Asian Japanese salsa group, and I put them on the show.
Wow.
You know, they were doing salsa in Japan. So it was just this crazy, just bullshit idea. So then all of a sudden, like the station was getting 0.03, right? So salsa does the Hollywood premieres, right? And the next morning, the president goes, are you sitting down? I'm like, what? He goes, you got a 2.6 million viewers. Ooh! I was like, what? He goes, Gloria Estefan had a tour that we spent, you know, $250,000 on her behind-the-scenes tour. She got a 1.3, which is huge for them. We got a 2.6. Wow. Like they wanted me to understand how big. And he got on a plane. Within 3 days, I had 13 episodes, Kiki Desde Hollywood, and that's how I started. And by the way, I got a second season, but that's a long story which I'll tell you in my autobiography, okay?
Is that over? Are we going to see the Kiki Hollywood? Are we going to see?
Well, you know, I am, there's a couple of really exciting things happening. I'm launching Omni Cultural TV Fest. I'm sorry, Omni Cultural TV. It's gonna be a multicultural platform, and I'm gonna bring it there.
Oh,
Right on.
Cool.
Good for you. Thank you. Yeah. So normally, when I met you, you told me I'm an editor, but I see you as a director, and writer, in a bunch of things. What is it when you started with, like as a director, as a, or what? What do you enjoy doing the most?
I think I like directing and editing probably both about the same. I was telling Mike earlier, we were talking about this, and if you edit and you don't direct and you don't write, you always find the mistakes and the things that happen that should have been fixed or covered. And so since I started doing editing first, I realized like, whoa, why didn't they get a shot of the point of view? Why didn't do a reverse? Why did they the sound or whatever it was? And so as an editor, I just kept going like, this doesn't work. And so I took that information and I started to direct, and then I would direct thinking, what would the editor need? And so I find those two things very helpful to each other. So being a good editor makes you a better director. And if you're a good director, you're thinking about the editor in post-production. So make sure things are covered, so you don't, otherwise it will show up on the film. I write, but I always have written out of necessity. I find that that's just a different place. It's more of a lonely place because you kind of have to like lock yourself and do it. But directing is an ensemble. You work with people, you have to communicate. So that one kind of gets you out of your sort of that mindset of like, I have to write. So I like directing because you get socialized, you get to communicate, and you have to put things in words that people can understand. So I like directing, and I like editing, probably about the same.
And what are you working on? Are you going to do anything with that scene? It's pretty good. You should. I want to know more.
yeah.
Thank you. No, so the idea really is, and I've done things like that before, like that scene, and people will ask, it's like, okay, well, is that part of a larger film or a part of something else? Are you working on a feature, and this is just like something to tell people what this is about? And the idea is just like to build a scene that works on its own, and then it doesn't need to conclude. It just gives you a snippet of it. So like if you turn the TV on, you start watching something, and then the commercials come up. You maybe didn't see the beginning of the film, and you're not going to see the end of the film, but you at least understand who these two people are and what's possibly going to be happening, and it piques your interest. And I think that that's important, that every scene should work on its own. So I wrote that scene as a practice, and it works on its own. But I can, I have written a feature before, and I have worked on larger storytelling. But it's just a matter of like, is it interesting enough to work, write 90 pages for it. And sometimes I just want to keep going to the next thing.
So we're just gonna have to forget about
There's
it.
nothing behind the wall. It's probably some like asbestos or something.
No. I read that there was a little boy missing, and I want to know what happened with the little boy. I'm concerned. Me too. We all want to know what happened to the little boy.
I'm actually terrified to know.
I would be there. By that point, it would be dry. So yeah.
Someone can be
That's the problem. It's like there's always a fallacy. There's always a flaw, but it's for the moment it works for a little bit. It's like, oh yeah.
Well, Tannie, so you transition from gaffering, lighting, into camera now. And are you working more in camera?
So it's actually a relatively small transition compared to everybody else here wearing multiple hats. I'm just in cinematography, that's all I do. But it's just cinematography itself is such a huge department. On sets, usually cinematography leads the most crew members as well. It's two big departments, camera and lighting. So it's hard to just do one without the other. So that's when we constantly go back and forth, just try to get both together up to a level that eventually the visuals will be just as good. But yeah, that's mostly what I'm working on.
And that's true. I mean, no one can work by themselves. Sorry. We need one another. That's it. Right? Even in a solo show, you need someone who read it after and say, no, dude, no, or someone come and see you and clap for you, or like you use the everything. You're always gonna need people, but are you also writing? Are you planning on directing, or you just like passionate?
You know, the interesting is, I think Kiki and also ADRIANA talked about how being actors, if you don't get work, you start doing stuff on your own. I feel similar things happen to cinematographers as well, where I produced, directed, and DP that little commercial by myself. And at times when you're not getting hired, where you're not on set, you want to take the initiative and just start creating. And that's where it gets you to places instead of just, I guess, sitting there. So I think that's really important that unavoidably, I got involved in writing, directing, and editing, all kinds of stuff, because everything eventually kind of ties them together. It's never craft on its own, whereas cinematography just stands out on its own, but it has to kind of combine with everybody else's jobs, and it helps to know other people's jobs and how their struggles are. That way you're better in your own craft. So yes, I did write, and I directed and produced a lot of other things, but the main thing slash eventually, even though yeah, exactly.
So how many actors do we have here? Included, right?
Everybody.
So this question is for all of you. What information or what advice would you give us to actors of not to do to avoid being cut off on the screen? Because sometimes you do a lot of, like they invite you to do this, and then when you see the final cut, you are not there. You are being seen less. And it could be a factor as the material was too much and we have to cut off because we only have 3 minutes air to be aired. Or maybe sometimes I've seen actors that they have a very little talk, like Joey from Friends. He had to do the scene, the butt of Robert De Niro, and just keep trying to get everybody's attention. So some actors are going to try to like maybe ADRIANA is talking and I'm talking in the same scene. Instead of reacting, I'm just like looking at her instead of reacting to what she's saying, and the camera is on me, and probably they're going to cut me because I'm not giving them anything. So what are the mistakes or the errors or the things that sometimes actors we do that we shouldn't be doing to avoid being cut off? What you guys, all of you have done it. You just directed, so everybody knows this. What can you give us?
I think from cinematographer's point of view, what I've noticed the most is obviously we've got to be on point, make sure every take has the perfect light and focus, so you're not getting cut because of technical issues, because that does happen, where there's a minor buzz in focus, there's a lighting that's not perfect, director's not feeling it because the visual is just not good. But on that perspective, definitely, I think cinematographers will try to keep on top of everything so that making sure it's not because of you in the end that you're getting cut out. But I do notice sometimes when it comes to acting, at least a lot of the directors we work with like to use actors that can give out different things during each take, even though you're instructed to do one thing, even the story, the character is always like the same kind of character, but the actor is on top of things, like he or she thinks a lot and trying to give different perspectives and different ways of acting in each take so that there's a choice to pick which one you're trying to get, instead of if you're providing the same thing, then in the end it might be like, well, is this important? Should I keep it? Because it's kind of all the same. So I think having tried little, ways of different approaches for acting might help a lot in terms of my presentation.
Justin?
Yeah, I hate doing that.
Yeah. This is Justin, my husband. I didn't thank him, by the way. He helped me do the videos and for all of you. He's not an actor, he's not in the industry. He says, I'm the plus one, but you do very important thing. And many times, we screened a short film last month that I directed, and he was there. But it's very funny because sometimes I'm also a voiceover talent. And how many times they said, give me 3 takes, and give me 3 friends, and like, just say delicious, 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 and it's identical. At least say delicious, delicious. I mean, you really have to have different ways to say it. So hitting your mark, like make sure you know without looking down, right? And make sure you're on camera, on light, and where the cinematographer can see you. How about you, Jack? What do you recommend? Because I'm also pretty sure the acting and reacting, probably they don't do it, or they don't have enough. I'm gonna drink water in this scene, but then on the next one I forgot to do it, so therefore editing doesn't have any sequence.
Okay, so like continuity? Yeah.
What are the advices that you will give to avoid?
Just simple things like blinking less when the camera's on you. I mean, it's true. I mean,
I'm fried.
yeah. If you're blinking a lot, then as an editor, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking you're disconnecting from the audience because your eyes are basically what's connecting to the audience. If you're looking at the lens and you have a camera pointing at you and the person you're looking at, make sure that your face is open to the lens so they can see you clearly. Going back to what she was talking about, the out of focus, is like, I did an interview with some people a couple of weeks ago, and I said, you can move to the side and move forward backwards, because then we'll lose you out of focus, unless we know exactly when you're going to move forward. Because I mean, if you're using a very short lens, and, then you blurry. But what do I say? Blinking is important. Stay focused on the person, and that will help the editor a lot. What else? How about when somebody's talking to you, the other actor's talking to you, and you're supposed to be listening? Make sure that you're not just waiting for your line, and that you are thinking about things you could possibly be saying. Because every time you have a conversation, you're about to cut somebody off or interrupt. I mean, we always say don't interrupt, but the truth is we always want to say, oh, I want to say this now. And it's important that if you, as you're listening, that something's happening inside your head, that you're reacting, and the camera will pick it up. So the camera will pick up that you're about to say something, even if there's not a line for you yet. That makes it a lot more interesting than just waiting for my line, because the camera picks up that you're checked out.
And what if the actor, it's an expert in improv. So if you're waiting for your cue word and that actor decides to say the same with different words, it's never gonna happen. You're just gonna be like, huh? Wait, you forgot to say car and you forgot to say auto and you say carro, so you know. So those things, that's true. That's Kiki?
Well, the best way not to get cut out is to do your own story.
Yeah, it's true.
A lot of the times when you get cut out, it's really not personal. It's 90% of the time it's time, because they have to hit. There's so many times, me as a producer, that, or even when I did my Kiki Desde Hollywood or Kiki Mobile most recently, it's like you want to keep that person longer, but you have to hit a certain time, and it kills you to have to cut things. It's not, and it's hardly ever personal. It's literally about time and moving the story forward. That's really what it is 90% of the time, unless it's technical or bad acting or blinking. But anyway, real quick, I want to invite everybody here. If you can get there at 7 p.m. on Sunday, we have a huge industry turnout for Hot Tamales Live. You know that it was on Showtime for 3 years. And we're reviving it, and it's going to be huge industry. So I highly suggest that if you can make it, I will let you guys in before 7. After 7, I cannot guarantee admission because we're going to be sold out. But if you want to go, my friend right there in the back, you have to sign. You have to put your first and last name and how many people in your party. And just so you know, please make sure you show up, because these tickets are very valuable. They're $30 per person, and we're raising money for children, Kids in the Spotlight, which is for foster children that get to tell their story through filmmaking. Okay, so it's a beautiful cause. So make sure you show up, make sure you get there by 7, and you're gonna have the greatest night of your life. I promise you that. Not because I'm going home with you, but
You're not that lucky people. So, Mike, you are an actor. You don't want to be an actor anymore, so I don't understand why. Not just kidding. But what is the advice that you will give to our audience tonight? What to do or avoid?
I honestly think just what Kiki was saying, like it really, from my experience, isn't most of the time anything personal. And really, honestly, from a philosophical standpoint, if you're worried about it, then, you know, maybe your priorities aren't in line. Like, I feel like, you know, honestly, like, just worry about bettering your craft. Worry about, show up, immerse yourself on the set, figure out, feel that light, figure out where the camera is, figure out where the 180 line is, figure out what happened, where you're coming from, where you're going, the energy, everything, you know. If you're you know, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, but if you're studying acting, you know not to do the blinking thing, you know, to try and, you know, deliver different versions of lines and whatnot, but then also just, yeah, but just really immerse yourself in that scene from even a technical side.
Which doesn't mean asking 100 questions when you're on set, right?
Oh, yeah, no. But if you do have to ask questions, honestly, it's better if you can't figure it out on your own or using deductive reasoning.